Hello and welcome to my Zoom studio. My living room. I'm Scott Corwin, pastor of the International Baptist Church, and I also have the privilege of serving as the Building Connections Core Strategy Director. I don't know about you, but I've picked up quite a few skills in these days of Corona, including taking advantage of Zoom and online meetings. But it's reminded me that God has designed us for connections, for community that's embodied, incarnate. And while Zoom is a good substitute for the time being, it will never be a replacement for our opportunities to be together in person, face to face. That's a little bit of what we are about as a Building Connections core strategy. You see, we believe that God has intended for us to live life in community, in relationship with one another, and the same is true for our churches as well as the body of believers across the globe. So in Building Connections, we're looking to connect leaders, churches, and organizations that are committed to God's purpose. During these few minutes that I have to make some presentation and background to what's going on in Building Connections, I want to just say thank you to all of our core strategies for all that we're doing to help connect pastors and leaders, starting with Jimmy, the General Secretary, and the pastors team, and especially the other teams that are connecting pastors and leaders in a variety of ways. We want to make sure that you have an opportunity to connect with others in a way that gives you the support and encouragement that you need to accomplish the mission that God has called you to as a pastor or a leader. There's a variety of ways for you to connect. You're familiar with those now. The question is who do I get in touch with to get connected? Well, contact any of us, but if there's some way that I can help you connect to one of the many wonderful ways that we have available for you to connect, whether it's through our multiplying churches, conferences, our online meetings, whether it's through our Empowering Leaders events, or whether it's through our Strengthening Churches ministry of connecting with pastors. Just let us know, contact me, and I'll be sure to make sure that you're connected with the appropriate way of connecting with others. We also want to see our IBC churches connected in meaningful kinds of ways. We're made to serve God in cooperation and collaboration with one another, and it's one of the reasons that we're a part of a network such as the family of churches known as the IBC. We believe that there's lots of experience and expertise, particularly specified and very specific and concentrated in the international church. We are a unique animal, if you will. And serving in the international church has given many of us, you and me and others, experiences that we can leverage to the benefit of our brothers and sisters in other churches. So we want to connect IBC churches. We believe that supporting one another in cooperative ministry and missions is a way for us as churches to accomplish our mission of being a disciple-making church. So we've seen over the past few years a number of ways that churches have connected through ministry exchanges, fellowship retreats, local outreach support, or even joint missions projects. I've got my stories. What stories do you have of connecting with other churches? My church here at IBC Berlin has been able to connect with the church in Rome with support for their fellowship retreat. The church in Hamburg, where we ended up having a worship team exchange with the church multi-nation in Frankfurt, where we had a youth exchange as well. Lots of ways that we can connect with other churches in a variety of ways. And the question is in what ways has your church connected with other IBC churches? In a few minutes, when we have a chance to Zoom and interact, we'll ask that question again, and go ahead and put it in the chat. In what ways has your church connected with other IBC churches? How has that benefited you? In what way has your expertise supported the ministry of another church? Or perhaps how has another church encouraged and supported you and your ministry? We want to see churches connected so that we can strengthen our ministries for the sake of the kingdom of God. There's another way that we're connecting churches, and that is through our church ministries, our women, men, youth, children, worship, tech, social media, and small groups. All of these ministries are unique to your church and mine in the international context, and we can support and help one another in these ways. Many of these we've done through webinars, and it's exciting to see how our teams come together and they talk and they share and they learn that they're not alone in the challenges that we face in the international church. And so one of the things that we're doing in Building Connections is to partner with our other core strategies as well as our church ministries to provide webinars so that your church teams can connect in meaningful ways and strengthen the ministry of your church. Our women's ministry has done a wonderful job of their conferences, and Lord willing, they'll still have a conference in April. Perhaps there's updates I'm unaware of. But they're also available for ministry training and consultations, and they've had some online gatherings as well. Our men's ministry, the conference in Link, Corona days make all of these things uncertain, but our men's ministry is still active, and there's some opportunities for us to leverage Zoom and some of our online connections to strengthen your men's ministry. Our youth ministry is also hard at work, Lord willing, coming together for EuroVenture. They're discussing lots of things. In fact, one of the things that's coming up is a youth ministry team panel discussion. It's going to be happening on December the 3rd, we believe. And we would like to have your youth team leaders connect with our IBC youth ministry team just to talk about issues of ministering to youth in the IBC with a special attention and special focus and discussion on EuroVenture. What is the future of EuroVenture, and how can we leverage our experience of EuroVenture to benefit you in training and your teen ministry? So we're looking forward to those kinds of opportunities just in the next couple of months. But the question that I have is, what other kinds of ministries might we support? So, for example, in November, just a week or so away, November the 5th, we'll have a worship in the IBC with Christopher Martson. He'll be joining us from Singapore, where he's serving in an international Baptist church there, after having served in the IBC in Stuttgart. And he's going to help our worship teams just think through some issues of worship in the international church. So make sure that you get your worship team, worship leaders registered so that we can build a sense of community between some of the church ministries and have an experience of growth and magnifying the impact of our worship ministry through their connection as well. A question that I have is, which ministries in your church would benefit from an IBC seminar? In a moment, once again, when we come to our conversation time and feedback, I'll ask this question again, and we'll take advantage of this unique setting and format for you to answer in the chat window. We believe that connecting churches is an integral part of what God has called us to as an IBC. But we also believe that God has called us to missions partnerships. In other words, connecting with global partners. And through our ministries, we've been able to connect with a number of ministries globally through the EBM International, regionally in Europe through the EBF, and then through our own churches, IBC Missions and IBC Aid. Let me walk you through these just for a moment to tell you about some of the exciting things that are coming up in the next year. First of all, EBM International is the Baptist missions agency that's centered here in Elstal, Germany, just a few kilometers from where I'm at here in Berlin. And they have a ministry in Central and Latin America and in Africa, as well as in Asia. Over the past 3 years, we've had a partnership with the Alliance of Baptist Churches in Turkey. And we have had a wonderful experience of supporting them in their church planting ministry, their refugee ministry, as well as in their young adult ministry by sending a team from the IBC in Paris. We're grateful for the opportunity that we had to just serve and minister in there. And if you've not yet had a chance to observe the video of the way that our IBC aid this past year went to support the ministry to refugees, especially during this corona crisis, you'll want to find that video on EBM International or on our social media and just see how your help has contributed significantly to our partnership in Turkey. Our 3-year partnership with them is concluded, and so our missions team is proposing that what we do is we support a new partner with Brazil, a new partner in Brazil with Valerio and Sandra Kurt, who are serving in the mission among the Pomeranians in Brazil. It's a ministry among a people group there that has European roots, but they are now well established in Brazil, and it's a church planting ministry of the EBMI International missionaries, and we're looking to help encourage those missionaries in their ministry this coming year. We do so through our global missions offering that I'll speak about in a moment. My question for you is, we are looking for somebody who would be an IBC, EBMI connector. Perhaps one of our Latin American churches would like to be a partner in participating and praying and helping us promote the ministry of the EBMI International through the Pomeranians and Valerio and Sandra. Would you be interested in something like that? We're already providing the funds through the IBC. Perhaps you have someone in your church, a missions team, that would adopt this project, highlight this project, and keep us as an IBC informed. If so, please let me know. That's our global partner, the EBM International. More regionally, we are partnered with the European Baptist Federation and the Missions Partnerships. That is the church planting branch of the European Baptist Federation. And our support for them continues to grow, and we have been recognized as wonderful partners by Daniel Trusevich and the EBF team for our historic support and our unparalleled support for their church planting ministry. The IBC has supported over 39 church plants over the last years in 14 different countries, 10 directly through the IBC convention, and 29 through IBC churches themselves. So we have, over the years, had opportunities to not only partner by contributing, but also participating. For example, our church in IBC Berlin supported a church plant among the Romani Gypsy people in Slovakia, and here we took a trip to support an outreach day with a kids event and a soccer tournament. So all of these things we participated in a way that encouraged us as a church and strengthened our partnership with a church planter. The other thing that I wanted to highlight is that we currently are supporting Oskars Lusis, a church planter in Latvia, and you will see a video testimony from him in a moment. And we're also this year happy to welcome Facion and Anissa, new church planters that we're supporting in Albania, a new project that we've taken on as the IBC this year. In the same way, I'd like to ask, would you be a connector for one of these partners? We're already supporting them financially. What we're looking for is someone who would be willing to participate, go with me on a missions trip, Lord willing, this coming year to meet and to find out ways that we can strengthen and support the church planting ministries in Latvia and in Albania. Perhaps you have someone that would be willing to stay in touch with these missionaries, these church planters, and help us pray and promote their ministries. If you have a heart for Latvia or Albania, please let me know, and we'll explore ways that we can strengthen our partnerships. I'm looking especially to strengthen our missions team with the next generation of pastors, leaders, or people from your church. So let me know, and we'll continue our support for the EBF mission partnerships. Currently, we have a number of churches that are being supported by our IBC churches in Palestine, Croatia, Ukraine, Estonia, Israel, and in Georgia. We're happy to say that some of our churches have taken up individual partnerships. And if your church would like to explore that as a possibility, please let me know. They have profiles of new candidates. You can prayerfully look through those and see if God lays any one of those on your heart. And I'll be happy to help you or to put you in touch with Daniel Trusevich, and you can, as a church, support one of these church planters. One of the final things that I'd like to highlight is our global missions offering. This is where we collect our missions offering around Christmas time, and we use it for a number of purposes. 30% of that goes to our partnership, and this year, as I've already mentioned, it'll go to support the Brazilian Baptist Project among the Pomeranians. The other is an IBC aid that we have already contributed this past year to the refugee ministry in Turkey. This year, our missions team is proposing that we would contribute our global missions 30% IBC aid to the economic recovery and explosion recovery relief among the Lebanese Baptists because of the circumstances in which they find themselves. Here on your screen, you see Nabil Costa, who was at the recent EBF online council meeting, telling us a little bit about the aftermath of the turmoil that's going on in Lebanon. And our contribution through our GMO, we're proposing, would go towards their ministry in Lebanon. The 40% of our GMO goes to an IBC missions. This past year, we supported the Kainos ministry out of IBC Stuttgart. This year, we'll be supporting All for Aid, the refugee and asylum seeker ministry that was started out of multi-nation Frankfurt. And it's wonderful to see all that God is doing there. And we look forward to hearing from them as IBC missions partners that we'll be encouraging and participating with this year. There's other IBC missions projects that come out of some of our churches, and we encourage you to connect with them if God lays them on your heart. The other thing is, if you have a missions project that is coming out of your church, we would like to know about it. You can actually apply by filling out the online form that's on IBC Resources page. Fill that out and submit it to our missions team through BuildingConnections. And on September the 15th, we'll receive those and prayerfully consider next year's IBC Missions Project donation. Lots of things happening. I look forward to catching up with you as we have a chance to chat via Zoom here. Once again, if there's some way that I can help you get connected, please let me know. I would like to end with the following. I've been serving in this capacity for the last few years. I'd like to transition out to focus more specifically on my ministry at IBC Berlin. We've gone through a refresh process, a time of transition. We've taken on a church planting resident and a church planting couple. We anticipate arriving this coming August. And we're looking to do a refocus and a remissioning of our church, and I'd like to devote attention to this. So I'm moving out of this responsibility and would like to say it's been a privilege serving you in this capacity alongside Jimmy Martin. I want to say a special thanks to Jimmy for his servant-hearted leadership that demonstrates strength and humility, a person of integrity that has led us to a wonderful place of health. And we are happy to celebrate all that God has done in his life and through his life in the IBC. It's been a privilege serving alongside you, Jimmy, and I'm happy to be your friend as well as your co-laborer together in Christ. Thank you. It's a privilege to serve you. Let me know how I can be of help to you.